Imagine you and three friends want to order a massive pizza, but you try to pay for the whole thing yourself, using only what is in your pocket. You are likely to come up short. When everyone at the table empties their pockets and chips in, the group suddenly has enough. The financial burden is distributed fairly, and everyone gets to enjoy the reward. This exact logic scales up from 4 friends buying dinner to over 300 million citizens funding the infrastructure of an entire nation. The basic principle remains the same. Whether it is a few dollars for a pepperoni pie or a few trillion dollars for a national project, chipping in together is how we afford things meant for everyone. Consider the logistical challenge of paving a multi-lane highway across a landscape this fast. The cost of the labor and materials is far beyond what any one person could manage. The same applies to our education system. This crowded classroom represents a massive shared investment in teachers, books, and the building itself. We also pool resources for security and emergency response, like these workers distributing meals from a communal station to provide disaster relief. Taxes are the mandatory yearly payments you make into a shared bucket to pay for these essential public services. Without this collective pool of money, the responsibility for fixing a pothole or building a neighborhood school would fall on a single individual, which is mathematically impossible for almost everyone. To fill that giant bucket, the government collects money through several distinct revenue streams throughout the year. Sales tax is the most frequent stream. You contribute a small percentage to the bucket almost every time you buy a consumer good. There are also state taxes, which fund local projects. In Pennsylvania, for instance, everyone pays a flat 3.07% of their income to the state. For most people, income tax is the largest contribution. This is money taken directly from your job earnings or a side hustle. By collecting from your spending, from your specific location, and from your earnings, the system ensures the responsibility of filling the bucket is spread across every part of the economy. Most developed countries use a progressive tax system. This means different levels of your total income are taxed at different, escalating rates. If you earn an $80,000 salary, the first $11,925 is placed in the lowest bracket and taxed at just 10%. The next $36,550 of that same salary is taxed at a slightly higher 12%. Only the remaining $31,525 is taxed at the highest bracket of 22%. When you look at the total bill, your effective tax rate is the average of those blocks combined. For this salary, you actually pay 15.64% on average. There is a common myth that gown the raise can actually leave you with less take-home pay because it pushes you into a higher tax bracket. But because only the top sliver of your income is taxed at that higher rate, a salary increase always results in you keeping more money. You can also use tax deductions to legally lower the total amount of income the government is allowed to tax. For example, if you spend $5,000 on gear for a YouTube channel that earns $20,000, you can subtract the cost of that gear from your earnings. Now the government only taxes you on $15,000. This even applies to travel. If you can prove a trip to Italy was strictly for meeting a banana business client, you can deduct the entire cost from your taxable income. However, trying to claim a personal vacation as a business expense will trigger an investigation by the IRS, which can lead to heavy fines or jail time. Deductions exist to incentivize people to reinvest their profits back into their businesses. When a business owner buys new tools or hires help, that money flows to suppliers and workers, which stimulates the broader economy. To see the true value of the system, we have to look past the money entering the bucket and see how those resources pour back out into our daily lives. This image of a mail carrier collecting tax documents shows the physical reality of this civic duty. It is the mechanism that connects each individual to the maintenance of the state. While few people enjoy the act of paying, understanding the math removes the mystery. Taxes are the invisible engine that powers our shared public life. We have traced the journey of taxes from the collective bucket to the different revenue streams, the fairness of the progressive system, and the logic behind deductions. The next time you use a public service, you will understand exactly how the funding was pooled to make it exist.